Kunja Vihar Jaya Gopi Chana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Chana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Chana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Chana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vrajadana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajadana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vrajadana Ranjana Sodanandana Vrajadana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunjaya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Jaya Radha Krishna Jaya Lalita Vishaka Jaya Radha Krishna Jaya Lalita Vishaka Radha Krishna Jaya Lalita Vishaka Jaya Radha Krishna Jaya Lalita Jaya Jagannath Jaya Baladev Jaya Subhadra Jagannath Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Goranita Jaya Goranita Jaya Goranita Jaya Goranita Goranita Jaya Goranita Jaya Goranita Prabhupada Jai Jai Prabhupada Prabhupada Jai Jai Anantalila Pravishta Vishnupad Paramansa Pariprajakacharya Astutara Satashishima Shila Abhay Charana Ravinda Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantalila Pravishta Vishnupad Paramansa Pariprajakacharya Astutara Satashishima Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sakaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Sham Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Mathura Dhama Ki Jai. Navadip Mayapur Dhama Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Puri Dhama Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Book Distribution Ki Jai. Prashadam Distribution Ki Jai. Chennai Iskan Yatra Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayen Nastaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Bhakti Bhavati Naistaki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 12, Maharaj Nimi meets the 9 Yogendras, text number 40. Evam vratasva priyanama kirtya. Evam vratasva priyanama kirtya. Evam vratasva priyanama kirtya. Jatanurago druta chitta uchai. Rago druta chitta uchai. Jatanurago druta chitta uchai. Hasatyato roditi roti gayati. Satyato roditi roti gayati. Asatyato roditi roti gayati. Unmadavan nityati lokabhaya. Madhavan notiti lokabhaya. Evam vrata swapriya nama kirtya. Jatanurago drita chitta uchai. Hasatyato roditi roti gayati. Unmadavan nityati lokabhaya. Please chant. Vaishnavis. Amrita Swapriya Namakirtya Jatanurago Duta Chitta Uchay Satyato Roditi Rauti Gayati Madhavan Nityati Lokabaya. Gayati. Evam Vrata. When one thus engages in the vow to chant and dance, Swa, own, Priya, very dear, Nama, holy name, Kirtya, by chanting, Jata, in this way develops, Anuragaha, attachment, Drutachitaha, with a melted heart, Uchai, loudly, Hasati, laughs, Ato, also, Roditi, cries, Rauti, becomes agitated, Gayati, chants, Unmadavat, like a madman, Nrityati, dancing, Lokabayaha, without caring for outsiders. By chanting the holy name of the Supreme Lord, one comes to the stage of love of Godhead. Then the devotee is fixed in his vow as an eternal servant of the Lord, and he gradually becomes very much attached to a particular name and form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As his heart melts with ecstatic love, he laughs very loudly, or cries, or shouts. Sometimes he sings and dances like a madman, for he is indifferent to public opinion. Purport by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. In this verse, pure love of God is being described. Srila Sridhar Swami has described this spiritual situation as samprapta prema lakshanam bhakti yogasya samsara dharma titam gatim, or the perfectional stage of life in which one's devotional service to the Supreme Lord is enriched by ecstatic love. At that time, one's spiritual duties are entirely beyond the scope of worldly affairs. In Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila, 7th chapter, 78th verse, there is the following statement by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Darya darite nari, hai lama unmata, hasi kandi nachi gai, yaiche madad mata. While chanting the holy name of the Lord in pure ecstasy, I lose myself, and thus I laugh, cry, dance, and sing just like a madman. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately approached his spiritual master to ask him why he had apparently become mad by chanting the holy name of Krishna. His guru replied, Krishna nama maha mantra eta swabhava ye jape tara krishne upajaye bhava. It is the nature of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra that anyone who chants it immediately develops his loving ecstasy for Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 783. In this connection, Srila Prabhupada has commented, these symptoms are very prominently manifest in the body of a pure devotee. Sometimes when our students of the Krishna consciousness movement chant and dance, even in India, people are astonished to see how these foreigners have learned to chant and dance in this ecstatic fashion. As explained by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, however, actually this is not due to practice, for without extra endeavor, these symptoms become manifest in anyone who sincerely chants the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has warned us in this regard about the ungodly sahajiyas who imitate the pastimes of the Supreme Lord in an unauthorized way, neglecting the standard injunctions of Vedic scriptures, foolishly trying to take the position of Krishna as Purushottama, and thus making a cheap farce of the exalted pastimes of the Lord. Their so-called ecstatic symptoms like crying, shivering, and falling on the ground are not to be confused with the advanced features of devotional service described by Sridhar Swami as Samprapta Prema Lakshanam Bhakti Yoga. Srila Prabhupada comments in this regard, one who has attained this bhava stage is no longer under the clutches of the illusory energy. Similarly, Krishnadas Kaviraj states, Panchama Purushartha Prem An Damrita Sindhu Mokshadi Ananda Yara Nahe Eka Bindhu. For a devotee who has actually developed bhava, love of Godhead, the pleasure derived from dharma, artha, kama, and moksha appears like a drop in the presence of the sea. Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila 785. As already stated in the previous verse of this chapter, Gayan Vilajo Vichared Asangaha, one exhibits the ecstatic symptoms of love of Godhead when he is asanga, free from all attachment to material sense gratification. The word lokabhaya in this verse indicates that a pure devotee on the platform of prema, love of Godhead, is not at all concerned with ridicule, praise, respect, or criticism from ordinary people in the bodily concept of life. Krishna is the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and when he reveals himself to a surrendered servant, all doubt and speculation about the nature of the absolute truth are vanquished forever. In this connection, Sripad Madhvacharya has quoted a verse from the Varaha Purana, Kechit unmara vad bhakta bhaya linga pradar sakaha, Kechit antara bhakta syu, Kechit chaivo bhayat makaha, mukha prasada darhit yachcha bhaktir geya nachana yataha. Some devotees of the Lord exhibit external symptoms, acting like madmen. Others are introspective devotees, and still others partake of both natures. It is by one's steadfastness and by the merciful vibrations emanating from one's mouth that one's devotion can be judged, not otherwise. Srila Viswanath Chakravarti Thakur has given a very nice example to illustrate ecstatic laughing and other symptoms of love of Godhead. Oh, that thief, Krishna, the son of Yashoda, has entered the house to steal the fresh butter. Grab him, keep him away. Hearing these menacing words spoken by the elderly gopi Jarati, Krishna immediately prepares to leave the house. The devotee to whom this transcendental pastime is revealed laughs in ecstasy, but suddenly he can no longer see Krishna. He then cries in great lamentation, "Oh, I have achieved the greatest fortune in the world, and now it has suddenly slipped from my hands." Thus the devotee cries loudly, "Oh my Lord, where are you? Give me your answer." The Lord answers, "My dear devotee, I heard your loud complaint, and so I have again come before you." Upon seeing Lord Krishna again, the devotee begins to sing, "Today my life has become perfect." Thus overwhelmed with transcendental bliss, he begins to dance like a madman. Srila Viswanath Chakravarti Thakur also notes that the word "druta chitta," or with a melted heart, indicates that one's heart, melted by the fire of anxiety to see the Lord, becomes like Jambunari, a river of rose apple juice. The Acharya, that's described in the Bhagavatam. The Acharya further points out, Nama Kirtanasya Sarvo Karsham. The present and previous verse clearly distinguish the exalted position of Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu, chanting and hearing the name and glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also emphasized this by quoting, Harir Nama, Harir Nama, Harir Nama Iva Kevalam, Kalau Nasteva, Nasteva, Nasteva Gatir Anyata. In this age of Kali, there is no alternative, there is no alternative, there is no alternative for spiritual progress but the holy name of the Lord. In his purports to Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi 776, Srila Prabhupada has given an elaborate explanation of this verse. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur recommends that we study the following verse in this connection. Parivadatu jano yata tatava nanu mukaro na vayam vicharayamaha hari rasa madhira madati mata bhuvi vilu tamo natamo nirvisamaha. Let the garrulous populace say whatever they like. We shall pay them no regard. Thoroughly maddened by the ecstasy of the intoxicating beverage of love for Krishna, we shall enjoy life, running about, rolling on the ground, and dancing in ecstasy. That's a quote from Padyavali, verse number 73. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Jaksun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sapadantikam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Kauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangolangayate Girim Yat Kripastamahang Bande Shri Gurun Dinataranam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripashindu Bhaevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Shri Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. By chanting the holy name of the Supreme Lord, one comes to the stage of love of Godhead. Then the devotee is fixed in his vow as an eternal servant of the Lord, and he gradually becomes very much attached to a particular name and form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As his heart melts with ecstatic love, he cries very loudly or cries. He laughs very loudly or cries or shouts. Sometimes he sings and dances like a madman, for he is indifferent to public opinion. Mad eka bandho mat sangim, mad guru man mahadana, man nistaka mad bhagya, mad ananda namostute. O Srimad Bhagavatam, O my only friend, O my companion, O my teacher, O my great wealth, O my deliverer, my good fortune, O my bliss, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. This is from Krishna Lila Stava from Sanatana Goswami. This is a very important verse in Srimad Bhagavatam that Srila Prabhupada quotes very often. As a matter of fact, in this chapter, there are several very important verses that you'll find that Srila Prabhupada often quotes in his Bhaktivedanta purports. But in particular, this verse, you'll be surprised to know, Srila Prabhupada quotes this verse in many places, and you'll be surprised to know that in one place, Srila Prabhupada actually says that this verse is the essence of the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. So that's quite amazing. We have to understand that statement in context also. Just like sometimes we hear that Lord Shiva is the greatest devotee of Krishna, or sometimes we hear that Radharani is the greatest devotee of Krishna, or we hear that Giriraj is the greatest devotee of Krishna. What about Lord Nityananda? He's the greatest devotee. So someone might say, well, certainly that's not true, that this verse is the essence of the whole Srimad Bhagavatam. Because what about the Chatur Shloki? What about the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam? What about so many verses from Prahlad Maharaj, so many other great devotees? But Prabhupada, in fact, does say that in one place. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was given this mantra by his Guru Maharaj, and he was wondering what happened to him when he began to chant this mantra. He asked his Guru Maharaj, "What kind of a mantra have you given me? I've become mad. What's happening to me?" So his Guru told him, "My dear child, you have reached the perfection of chanting the holy name of Krishna. These symptoms that you're experiencing, these indicate the perfection in chanting the holy name of Krishna." In one of his purports where Srila Prabhupada discusses this verse, he says that this kind of chanting on this level, is actually not possible unless one has implicit faith in the words of their spiritual master. And in that place he quotes, "Yasya deve parabhaktir yata deve tata guru, tasyaite katita hyarta prakashante mahatmanaha." Only to those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. This is also a very often quoted verse from the Svetasvatara Upanishad. So without this kind of faith, both in Krishna and the spiritual master, the results of chanting will not be revealed. We chant every morning Lord Chaitanya in the 6th verse of Sikshastakam. "When will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up? And when will all the holes of hair on my body have eruptions by the recitation of your name?" So this verse comes after the verse about humility, right? After the verse that says we need to not make offenses, and then we need to become humble, and then we need to pray to not have any material desire. So this verse comes a little bit later. So I was thinking during our Vaishnava Christian dialogue we had the last few days, Anuttama Prabhu was quoting Srila Prabhupada as saying that I have not come to convert you from Christian to Hindu. And he would say it doesn't matter if you're Hindu, Christian, Muslim, but the question is how much have you developed your love of God? But who actually really believed him when he said, I've not come to convert you? Who of us really believed him when he said that? In fact, in many places, in many times, things operate in ISKCON as though Prabhupada has come to convert us to becoming Hindu, but that was not his intention. So what are the symptoms? Prabhupada said, you have to test whether you've developed love of God, right? That's the test, not to become Hindu, to become Christian, to become Muslim, to become some sectarian label. But the real test is, have you developed the symptoms of having developed love of God? So in this verse, there are some external symptoms that are being described, but there are also very important internal symptoms as well that we can discuss. But maybe first we need to, maybe you're thinking, well, if this happens automatically, why hasn't it happened to me? I've been chanting for a year, 6 months, or 3 years, or 5 years, or 20 years. Why hasn't this happened to me? So why am I not attracted? Krishna's called all attractive, right? Well, what's wrong with me? That I'm not attracted to the all-attractive Krishna. I'm not attracted to his holy name, which is said to automatically give these symptoms of ecstasy and pure love of God. So what am I actually doing wrong, right? We might ask ourselves. So Krishna is all attractive, just like a magnet is attractive, right? But if a magnet is covered with rust, can the magnet attract metal filings? No, right? Won't work, right? So we have to look and see, what is the rust on my heart? What is the grime on my heart that this beautiful holy name, most powerful holy name of Krishna, look at the benefits on this sign, brings peace and joy to the heart. Are you feeling it? Gives strength to face the challenges of life. Are you feeling it? Takes us back to the kingdom of God. Are we eligible? So what's wrong with me, right? So is my chanting mechanical with no sincere feeling? Is it just like a children's counting game? 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, 8, do, 10, 4, and then 16. Throw those beads down, right? Is that the mood in which I'm chanting with no sincere feeling? Srila Prabhupada once told Indradumna Swami asked Prabhupada, how should we chant the holy name? What is the right mood for chanting the holy name? Prabhupada said something so beautiful. He said, oh my friend, oh my friend, oh my friend. This is the mood. This is how he explained it. And in another place, Prabhupada said, please give me strength. I am fallen. Listen to Prabhupada's humility. Please give me strength. I am fallen. I have no strength. Please accept me. I am frail. The great Srila Prabhupada, who went all over the world on a freighter ship and 108 temples, and I am frail. This was his internal mood. I am frail. I am trying, but I am failing. He said, I'm trying, but I'm failing. So what kind of barometer do we need to assess our problem, right? So am I trying to develop humility as in the Sikshastakam 3 that's described humility like more than grass? The grass jumps up after being trampled. So not jump up in pride. Tolerance like the trees are standing. Nalakuvera and Manigriva, how many thousands of years were they standing as trees in the Damodar pastime? So to offer respects to all and not be looking for respect for myself. Srila Prabhupada received a letter once, many letters like this, but in one particular letter, a devotee was complaining. It was a temple president, and he was complaining about one of the book distributors in his temple. He was telling Prabhupada, he's a very good book distributor, but he's really, he's going on and on complaining about this devotee. And Prabhupada wrote back and said, please try to tolerate him the way I try to tolerate you. So in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, Narada says to Gopkumar something very beautiful. He says, when humility or dainya fully matures, love unfolds without limit. And so we see humility and love acting in relationship in which each is both cause and effect. So Lord Chaitanya's humility that he expresses in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he says, instead of trying to make a show, he was telling people that he had no love, right? So he says, my dear friends, you are all my life and soul. Therefore I tell you that I possess no wealth of love for Krishna. Consequently, my life is poverty-stricken. My limbs and senses are useless. My dear friends, I have not the slightest tinge of love of Godhead within my heart. When you see me crying in separation, I am just falsely exhibiting a demonstration of my great fortune. Indeed, not seeing the beautiful face of Krishna playing his flute, I continue to live my life like an insect without purpose. So, the humility of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the previous verses we've been reading in this chapter have been talking about attachment and giving up attachment. So this verse turns the tables. We're meant to develop another kind of attachment to Krishna's holy name. When calling out the name of Gauranga, asking Lord Nityananda out of pity to free me from the temptations of this world. Maybe, do you know this song that Srila Prabhupada used to sing? Maybe you can sing it sometimes. Do you know this? Gauranga bolite habe, pulaka sharir, hari hari bolite nayane babine. If you sing this sometimes in the temple, all the devotees will be in ecstasy with your beautiful Bengali style. Ar kabe nitai chan karuna korive, samsara varshana mor kabe tucha habe. Bisaya chariya kabe shuddha habe man, kabe hama heraba Shri Vrindavan. When will there be eruptions on my body as soon as I chant the name of Lord Chaitanya? And when will there be incessant torrents of tears as soon as I chant the holy names of Hare Krishna? When will Lord Nityananda be merciful toward me and free me from all the desires of material enjoyment? And when will my mind be completely freed from all contamination of desires for material pleasure? Only at that time will it be possible for me to understand Vrindavan. So there's different symptoms of ecstatic love. Some of these we can try to imitate. Some can never be imitated by neophyte or materialistic devotees. In the purport here, it's described that sometimes devotees, pure devotees, exhibit these symptoms. Sometimes very introspective devotees don't exhibit these symptoms. But there's some symptoms that can't be imitated. Can you think of any? Symptoms of ecstatic love that cannot be imitated externally. How about being freed from the tendency to offend others, to commit aparad to others? That's a difficult one to imitate, right? How about being careful not to waste even a single moment? Always serving, always hearing, always chanting, remembering. Asking Krishna, praying to him to help us remember to always chant. What about steadfastness in devotional service? And another one that's mentioned in this purport, we can understand if someone is in ecstatic love by the quality of vibrations emanating from that person's mouth. Is the person gossiping, criticizing? Or as Baladev Vidyabhusan in his Bhagavad Gita commentary says, that we should have a continuous stream of love for Krishna and praise for Krishna coming from our hearts. He says, just like a continuous pouring or streaming of honey. Like if you were to take warm honey and just pour it, that's how our love for Krishna, how our chanting should be. And in this purport, it's also mentioned, a melted heart, melted in the fire of our anxiety to see and love our beloved Krishna. There's a beautiful quote in this connection from Srila Rupa Goswami. He says, just imagine Srila Rupa Goswami, this is his internal mood. I, a distressed soul, belonging to you, beg you with sweet words while rolling on the banks of the Yamuna. Although I am unfit, an offender with a crooked mind, please bestow on me a fragment of the gift of service to you. This unhappy soul is not fit to be neglected by you. He's praying to Srimati Radharani, who's famous for being merciful, right? This unhappy soul is not fit to be neglected by you, for you have a butter-soft heart that melts constantly by the warmth of your compassion. So yes, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there's so many other quotes, running a bit out of time. But Srila Prabhupada explains that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu never tried to become the master of the holy name. Sometimes we hear very expert Bengali singers, not like Saptadweep, not in his beautiful mood of devotion, but sometimes you can hear people who are very expert singers singing in such elaborate ways, in such flowery ways, to really show off, you know. But Srila Prabhupada says that Lord Chaitanya never tried to become the master of the holy name. He always wanted to become the servant of the holy name. So it was quoted, Radhika Raman Prabhu was talking in our dialogue about when Bhumi in the form of a cow came to the shore of the ocean of milk, and she and the other demigods were praying to Lord Vishnu, please come, there's so many offenses going on earth, so much suffering, please come, please come, please come. They didn't actually, he responded, but they didn't see him. They heard his voice. So it's described that we will hear Krishna's voice. We will hear the holy name before we will see Krishna. And he said something very interesting to them. He said, I know, I see the sufferings that are going on earth, and I see the abuses, but I will respond in my own time. So there's a tension, right, between patience, being patient, and also to have a longing for Krishna. Here's Bhumi and here's the demigods crying out, please come, please come, please come. Oh my friend, oh my friend, oh my friend. This is longing, right? So one beautiful devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, how can we render perfect service to Krishna? And Srila Prabhupada shot back. He said, by your anxiety. What an answer. By your anxiety. Anxiety to serve Krishna nicely. If we're too patient, if we're too complacent, Krishna can also be reserved in his response to us. So there's a tension between this patience and our longing, our anxiety to have him. Krishna is sitting in our hearts in the pastimes of Lord Nrsingadev. He says that this is his pleasure pastime, that he's sitting in our hearts, waiting to fulfill the desires of every living being. So if we don't care that much, why should he care so much, right? Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati says, life without love is useless and poor, they say. Appoint me in thy service, O Lord, with love as my pay. Beautiful, huh? So he's no longer living, but there was a theological scholar, a theologian in the US named Houston Smith. He said something interesting. He said the mystics are the impatient ones. So this tension between patience, we were having a conversation yesterday, and Urmila Devi was saying something very wise. She was saying, the demigods are in the mode of goodness, but they don't have bhakti. She was saying, Vritrasura, he was in the modes of passion and ignorance. He had bhakti. So we can come to the mode of goodness and be very patient, but not have bhakti. But we want bhakti, right? So a very interesting point. So this utsaha, nischaya, daryat, enthusiasm, conviction, patience. Rupa Goswami says, don't go. If you care about what the general populace has to say, what they're going to say about you, what they're going to gossip about you, what they're going to think about you, he says, don't go to see Govinda. Excuse me. Standing on the bank of the Yamuna in the full moonlight, playing on his flute. Don't go there. If you care what your neighbors say, what your relatives say, you were talking about in-laws, right? What your in-laws say, don't go. So, yeah, I wanted to close with another thing that's mentioned in this verse is the beautiful quote from Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, where he reveals the vision of a devotee seeing Krishna coming in as a thief and then getting chased away and then coming back. So there's a very beautiful astakam that I want to close and read this to you. It's called the Chor Astakam. Trying to find it. Just a second. Here it is. Okay. So it's difficult to listen to reading, but try very hard. This is really, really ecstatically beautiful. Okay? Chor Astakam. I offer my pranams to that foremost of thieves, who is famous in Vraja as the butter thief, and he who steals the gopis' clothes, and who, for those who take shelter of him, steals the sins which have accrued over many lifetimes. I offer my pranams to the foremost of thieves, who steals Srimati Radhika's heart, who steals the dark luster of a fresh rain cloud, and who steals all the sins and sufferings of those who take shelter of his feet. He turns his surrendered devotees into paupers and wandering homeless beggars. Aho! Such a fearsome thief has never been seen or heard of in all the three worlds. Mere utterance of his name purges one of a mountain of sins. Such an astonishingly wonderful thief I have never seen or heard of anywhere. O thief, having stolen my wealth, my honor, my senses, my life, and my everything, where can you run to? I have caught you with the rope of my devotion. You cut the terrible noose of Yamaraj. You sever the dreadful noose of material existence, and you slash everyone's material bondage, but you are unable to cut the knot fastened by your own loving devotees. O stealer of my everything, O thief, today I have imprisoned you in the miserable prison house of my heart, which is very fearful due to the terrible darkness of my ignorance, and there for a very long time you will remain, receiving appropriate punishment for your crimes of thievery. O Krishna, thief of my everything, the noose of my devotion remaining forever tight, you will continue to reside in the prison house of my heart, because I will not release you for millions of eons. Haribo, thank you all so very much. Maybe there's a couple minutes for one or two questions. Thank you.
Just some clarification. What you quoted for me, that's Jiva Goswami, not me.
Jiva Goswami. So
Jiva Goswami in his Bhakti Sandarbha.
So beautiful.
And what you quoted from Bhakti Siddhanta is actually said by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Bhakti Siddhanta's translation.
Beautiful.
And I see it all over the internet that people attribute it to Bhakti Siddhanta. And it's like, no, it's Lord Chaitanya.
Lord Chaitanya.
Yeah, that's in the last chapter of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the Anjalila.
Nice.
When it's a part of the exposition on the Sikshastaka.
Nice.
And that's Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's English translation, but it's Mahaprabhu's words.
Beautiful. Thank you. I'll have to
Just
note that down. Thank you. Any other thoughts, reflections, realizations, corrections, objections? No? Are you ready to catch the thief? In the dark prison house of your heart? Shall I? Okay, thank you all so very much. Haribo.